Altered Dude Tron Part 2 Space Imperies, Clocktime. The Love of Amanda. Date, 225 to 2.347. Amanda and I met on the spacecraft, floating on Mars. The red and dusty landscape stretches in front of us, and in the distance, we see the tourist area of La Ciudadela in I-Cities Planitia. But before we get there, something stops us, the remains of the Earth-Moon warfare fleet's ships. Those fragments, once powerful ships, are now fridworks floating in risky orbits. I wonder if among those remains there is any clue that can help us unravel the mysteries surrounding the Neurotech Corporation and its role in all this. Amanda is next to me, her gaze fixed on the metal flashes. His face reflects astonishment and excitement. Should we do more research? Or move forward to La Ciudadela? Curiosity and the need for answers drive us, but we also know that every step in this world would be dangerous but the last. Amanda and I, our relationship is being forged in the fire from moment to moment. Sometimes, when we're alone in the darkness of the cabin, after action, I wonder if she also feels the tension between us. Is it just adrenaline or is there something else? Will we be able to find answers here on Mars? Or just more secrets and betrayals? And as we float in space, I can't help thinking about the irony of all this. I, Alex, a bioimplant engineer, now exploring Mars in the middle of the post-war era. Who would have imagined that my life would take this turn? But here we are, and there is no turning back. The Citadel is waiting for us. Now, Amanda and I are moving forward, with our hearts beating at the pace and rhythm of the stars and uncertainty as our fuel. As I landed and passed through the port customs, my integrated epithelial systems informed me of the new scanning methods that were running and that my small counterfire programs partially and temporarily shut down, in nanoseconds, the non-biological circuit fields of my male tattoos, as an insurance to not suffer burns in case of overload. Amanda looked at me, and then she looked at my arm. "Nothing is wrong," she said to me. There was a slight sparkle in the depths of my thought as I was distracted by seeing a beautiful, very tall and thin woman who passed walking, lightning, her naked body painted in black, golden, and Martian red, without being as overburdened as the terrestrial fashion. Amanda and her curiosity. I can't blame her. That body paint must be something out of the ordinary even for the very varied and distant earthly standards. "Imagine," said Amanda. "Will she be a rebellious artist, or a messenger of some cult? Can you imagine the possibilities?" He asked me if the woman had noticed our gaze. "Maybe he's evaluating us too. We don't know, there are no guarantees. But for now, let's let the intrigue float in the Martian air like dust particles." Amanda and I exchanged a complicit look. We should continue our way to La Ciudadela by the decisions and the moments. We continued with our role of honeymooners, fulfilling it to a good taste, and we approached the surface train, more expensive, old and slow than the underground, but in our version of tourists was almost inevitable, so we could see in person the first stains of life of terraformation. A very dark and long moose as tall cut grass interrupted small parts of the oxidized desert, and the cactus, also adapted by genetic editing, gave the impression of being an abstract picture of the Mextex desert. But we were on a private, secret research mission, and with a secret inside the garden like Russian dolls, and the first time we talked about the subject, it was when Amanda and I discovered neurological hacking programs that were not for medical use, but to take control of the subjects, and we also knew that Neurotech was going to the mysterious Martian energy source. Sometimes, I feel like we're in a race against time, trying to find out the truth. Amanda and I share meaningful gazes. We can trust each other and each of us has our own secrets. The tension between us is more than sexual, it's palpable and keeps us alert. The surface train moves forward quietly, devouring the distance, and the life spots of terraforming increase. I thought out loud, what will we find in the Citadel? Allies and enemies? I'm sure you do. We can always find the unexpected, Amanda answered, surprising me. There hasn't been any news of Mental yet. Mental, the autonomous bot with non-captive artificial intelligence, who had decided for himself to first join the rebellion of the Martian miners and then participated in the very short war of independence on Mars, known as the Space War. The secret and illegal contact that we had had on time with Mental, came from my friend Zephyr, a merchant of Zona's Blue, and had consisted of a pamphlet of imitation pulp paper, with discounts for tourists in couples. And I said it with emphasis, and that it was a recommendation from a friend who he described as someone very mental and who, like the imitation brochure, prefers offline communication. That was one of the mamushkas, one doll inside another and inside another. And now as the Martian landscape unfolds before us, I can't help thinking about the irony of all this. A world where technology and biology are intertwined, where cactuses are works of art and hacking programs are weapons, and online communication can be suicide. What role do we play, Amanda and I? Amanda and I shared secrets as if they were 1,000 packed candy. The neurological hacking programs we discovered were not mere tools, they were weapons to control minds. Who created them? Obviously someone with a team of professionals in some secret neurotech lab. And for what purpose? Neurotech, ready for everything by the Martian energy source. The tension between us is not just sexual, it's a mixture of desire, and I forgot what I was thinking. I suppose it is the excitement of having come to the best terms with Amanda and the stress combined. Trusting one another may be an ideal of my imagination, but reality is the sum of the moments. Sometimes, I think we're in a race for the truth before everything becomes like dunes under the old dust storms. The surface train advances, and the terraforming life spots multiply. The dark moss and genetically adapted cactus are little miracles in the middle of the oxidized desert. But there is something else, mental. The autonomous bot with non-captive artificial intelligence, a rebel who joined the struggle for independence on Mars. What role does it play in all this? Why is he still silent? When we arrived at Citadel, we met in a luxury hotel, Hotel Deluxe to be Martian, all made of printed regolito and with realistic screen walls, which if it was a luxurious little one could create any landscape that one wishes to program and make the square block look anywhere in the world. Citadel. The name only evokes mystery and elegance. A luxury hotel on Mars, built with printed regolito and walls that can transform into any landscape imaginable. What landscape do you want to choose? A sunset on the Martian dunes? Or maybe a view of the Tharsis Mountains at dawn? Amanda must have been fascinated. Have you been experimenting with screen wall settings before? He asked me sometimes, and if I answer you, I said, it's good to have an oasis. Take the lights, he said, smiling, disguising himself, and let's take a bath. When we got out of the bath, a service bot was presented who provided us with a small bottle of liquor with a welcome card with a nonlinear memory unit. The liquor, made on Mars based on natural carrots. Natural carrots don't exist for how many centuries? I said in a graceful tone and asked, surely it's an inflated, fat, beta-carotene Mars version on the subject of radiation. And as I had already noticed before, Amanda, when she tasted alcoholic beverages, was no more than cheerful and enthusiastic. More enthusiastic than a geisha, surely. Instead, at the first drink I found it between sweet and rough. At the second drink I had already drunk. And the third drink? I don't remember it anymore. When I woke up, Amanda was playing the festive music of the card contents offline. That's what woke me up. He looked at me and said, there is an encrypted message from Mental.